All right, I have good news and bad news. Good news, new Cities Skylines video. Everybody get excited for that one. Bad news, well, I saved over to the save file that you're watching, and I lost all this progress. So, important to note, I spent another 10 hours remaking a lot of the progress that I lost and improving on some of the city designs that I had. The bad news is that, a lot of the stuff that I'm showing isn't going to be in the next video, like the university, and it's kind of weird because I like to make mistakes and keep them here because like that's what making a real city is about, I guess. But I learned a lot from the mistakes I made, and I kind of got a blank slate, you know, like a do-over. So I'm not gonna waste it. So I hope you enjoy this video. I hope that you look at all the stuff that I'm doing and the commentary that I got, and you understand why, like, I've grown as a civil engineer. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you guys in a couple days for the updated version of what you're witnessing. So let's get into it because I have forgotten what I'm doing. I'm like 3 weeks back on this. I think the most important thing I gotta show you is how awful it is that you can't put a roundabout on top of a roundabout. It's a support beam in the middle of the road forcing a tiny roundabout because apparently that's what happens when you do this. So I tried to put a roundabout in the road first and then put my roundabout on top, but you can't put a support pillar in the roundabout negative space. Why? I don't fucking know. So then I build this thing. It's like 2 city blocks wide to fix my roundabout issue. And this is the dumbest thing I've ever done because I delete it like 10 minutes later in this video because it doesn't even work. I mean, literally nobody uses the north-south, east-west express bus lane, and I don't know why. So this area, I'm just trying to further develop the area of factories and mining up here. And I gotta say, one of my least favorite areas so far. I'm having a real tough time in Cities 2 making organic looking like areas with these circle zoning tools. And I know, just like, don't do it. Don't zone in a circle then. But I'm an idiot, and I did that because profit over beauty. And maybe that's why I'm doing this. I have too much traffic running south into my new industrial area, so I've got to make a third one north of that, which is still fine because it's not going to pollute my city. But I really need to redo this intersection that you see. It's just not functional, and it's causing a lot of stress over here. But doesn't matter, upgrading the town. What do we spend our upgrade points on? Well, water treatment plant, because I've realized polluting is going to hurt future generations, and by that I mean it's going to make areas not developable, which costs me money, and I don't like that. So let's try and minimize that and my impact on the ground. Also using geothermal heating / power, so I'm just trying to alleviate that. And you can see traffic is now becoming such an issue, even at just like 18,000, it gets way worse. We're sitting at like 30K by the end of this, and the problem lies in my inability to move people down a damn road. A lot of people on a schedule leaving the university at the same time makes this area, these 2 intersections, really bad during rush hour. It's very realistic, and I don't know how to fix that except for potentially focusing on some people movers, right? Like, cars suck, but they're necessary. So the whole point with the buses, which thousands of people are taking, even though they're inefficient for me because I don't spend time setting them up right, and that's probably leading to a lot of congestion. Well, guess what? I'm gonna fucking make trains now, okay? That's what I'm doing. So, and I've got this whole area that I'm gonna unlock down on the bottom right hand because it's just better to develop this suburb of low density homes. Again, you know, you don't let the bars control you. They're suggestions for what people want, and what people want is not what you as mayor need to do. Fuck them. So I decided to build this kind of like 3-way intersection haven. I'm trying out something. Somebody told me that 3-way intersections aren't a bad idea, and they generally don't have a lot of congestion issues like a 4-way might. So since I'm not having a lot of success with just infinite roundabouts, let's do 3-way intersections. And I've realized parking's an issue, like actually an issue. Even though people aren't complaining about it, my streets are filled with parking, which in my head is not a bad idea. But when you only have 2 lanes and somebody's waiting for somebody to get out of their parking spot, just like in real life, it causes congestion. Stupid, but understandable. So I start littering everything with parking lots, just like America wants. as expected, the area that I did not plan out for any other reason than I needed a new industrial area is ugly. I'm not surprised. I don't know how I'm going to rectify this issue. You can already see that this like weird commercial district that I built to the right of it is on a narrow street, which is going to have to be upgraded. And straight south, using one of the core arterial circles, is literally a street of like helper homes for this damn tree farm. It's not a good look. I'm going to probably end up like getting rid of all of these things and moving them somewhere else because like I can't stand how ugly it looks. I truly can't. But the emphasis in cities is about trying to place a lot of things that you need, not necessarily micromanage the things to make them look good, and that kind of sucks. Like there's no real, I've said this many times, there's no real benefit to have like a cooler looking industry area. Just make it the most profitable and move on. And so there we have it. It's ugly and it's functional, and I'm going to regret doing all this. But the dead people need to go somewhere in Chernobyl, and so I decide to, yes, put down a beautiful cemetery. They also need a place to go and grow up and learn. So school's going down here as well. Congratulations, you guys are a real city. I'm proud of you. You did it. Trying to de-zone all of this industrial area so the ground pollution will slowly go away. The city does not give a shit if we put offices there. So reminder, nobody complains about ground pollution if you're selling food or services on them. But if you live there, people get sick and die. So just, you know, it's fine. Just make sure you're taking care. I finally unlocked high density retail, which you think would be good, but given how I've laid out my suburb city, and the fact that every single low density option is a gas station, I think I may have overzoned Chernobyl. It's gonna have a lot of people traveling to a very inconvenient spot. And it's kind of at a place that I've forced myself into, right in between an industrial area and a giant factory and like 19 train yards. Don't like the amount of money you can make just by like covering your basics with like burning recycling, generating electricity, and then, wow, I'm making money on transportation. That's crazy. But I don't like how easy it is to just kind of overcome your debt by just dropping down another rock mine and then being like, all right, we needed rocks. Now we're importing less. Like, I can't stress it enough. Looking at your production tab and seeing where you need to, you know, kind of help out is the easiest way out of debt. Who knew? Who else knew that doing a poorly zoned zone area like this and having them all try and get on the highway with one entry and exit around a roundabout with several one-ways to the only port that I have, hey, I upgraded to a small city, would be a bad idea. Me, I know. I don't know what to do with this. I'm going to just probably put a like very tight four-way intersection down here and try and make it so people have like an easier time getting in and out of here. But of course, with my points, I get subways, I get a university. It's time to try and make the rest of my population smart. We need to get people up here into these big ass office buildings that I've got. And hopefully the smart people make tech companies and then I tax them high. Where do we put the university? I have this awkward area across the way. And it's kind of in a great spot. Now, will I have to change this ultimately? Yeah, I think I will. Having a roundabout right off of a highway exit where you're going to have a lot of traffic going to a school, not a good idea. And again, this is me doing something without a plan and it's not working out well. I do this and I don't really figure out how the school is going to fit in right next to a highway or how I'm going to support this. And ultimately, I'm going to change where the highway is going to fix this. But my thought process is school's right here. Population centers across the river. I can slowly build up more and more dense housing over there, which will be supported by the existing high density shopping district that I have right on the other side. And then so I can have people here with office buildings and maybe a little bit lower traffic volume buildings so I don't like overwhelm this exit on the highway. And then I can just maybe do another way for them to get on here because this is like, you can see I'm cramming this thing in here. But here's like a 1 kilometer bridge You know, it's negative 20 degrees outside and you're just like going to school on this bad boy. I mean, no, look, it works. And I think people will take it because people will walk really far in this game. I mean, I'm talking like a full year of their life spent walking to school. And for that, we salute you. So again, just making a boulevard with some buildings here for people to shop at, and then trying to make some offshoots of residential areas so students can just walk to college or whatever the hell this is. And it's not like the university DLC of Cities 1 where you get to sprawl your campus and put a bunch of dorms and stuff. No, you just kind of put it on here and it looks tiny and you're like, cool, I guess. It's just so weird how the lack of variety of assets and everything really starts to make this game feel like I can't wait for the mods to come through fast enough. I mean, after I did all of this zoning, I thought to myself, I hope this works and doesn't end up with a bunch of people complaining about noise, but I still have yet to have anyone complain about noise at all in the game. Like, it's kind of weird. You put up the sound barriers and you're good to go. It was such a problem in Cities 1 where people would literally throw up and die if they were near a highway. And here they're just like me. They're like, man, this could probably be better, but it's not. Remember when I told you this thing didn't do anything? I meant it. And even though this looks aesthetically pleasing and I have buses running all over, I think the average weekly passenger rate for these was 2, and the rest of them was like 90. I don't understand if it was a problem with people not going up the ramps, or maybe that there weren't enough people going from my dense population areas to the other, but you would think at least somebody would take the express lane. What the hell? You can see I've got 28,000 people in my city now. Absolutely exponential growth. And you can see in front of you a lot of cars having issues, both moving in and out, doing U-turns, being delinquents and stuff. Traffic is now a real problem in my city. Not just because there are so many people in such a dense area, but because it's so car-centric. Even the bus itself is causing the traffic, and these roundabouts and these problems with traffic don't seem to resolve themselves. Like, I don't know why they were sitting there this whole time, but then all of a sudden they just unplug. Like, why are these people sitting here? You know, why? Like, why? So the traffic issues that I'm having are, to me, just a byproduct of not planning my city well enough for the growth, and then trying to force my existing areas to have high density instead of building new areas that are fit for high density. This is like a problem that I think everybody always runs into. Another thing that I keep fucking up is power. Like, I don't know what it is, but like, me forgetting that power lines doesn't run through highways causes like an entire area of my city to bottleneck, or you know, an entire area of my city not to get sewage and waste treatment because I just haven't hooked it up for 3 months in game. I'm used to the mod doing it all, but yeah, Poop Lake diluting and eventually either an ecological disaster or a really nice swimming pool for the rich. This is actually the next time that I was playing Cities, and you can see that everything's a bit more developed. I have 32,000 people in here, and this area where the new factories are and the new forestry areas are is way too overdeveloped. It's causing traffic issues because I just basically have these like cul-de-sacs where thousands of people live. Smart? Absolutely not. How do I fix it? I don't know. I'm probably going to put parking lots across the street so people don't feel the need to drive. But like, look at this. My city's almost in shambles because of the AI's inability to change lanes efficiently and waiting to the last minute and whatever the hell this is that's going on. So I think, big brain, let's put another outlet. Let's get another way for people to leave the city, since the only way in and out of Chernobyl right now is through a single roundabout. So I attach it to the industrial area, a one-way, just putting people out so they can get onto the highway and exit. Now, what's going on over here? Great Britain's looking real good, and I've got this area that in my head I'd like to connect to another highway that runs north-south and connects to the other highways that exist and run east-west, the ones that we've seen the entire time. This will give me 4 ways into my island city and allow me to develop these nice little like suburb things that can can kind of like support the main city, but be their own. So this, off the main boulevard, I've discovered that there's pedestrian-only roads. Like, why did I not realize this? I don't know. I just thought there was like, I have no idea what I thought this was. So I'm gonna build something that is potentially pedestrian-friendly and not necessarily heavily traffic dependent, and also an area for people to live over here and support this. I want people to come and visit this area and not bring their cars. But if they are just passing through, that's fine. So in order to do this, like I said, got to connect the pedestrian pass everywhere, and then have to have some medium density housing, as well as all their services they could possibly need access to, and just make it so people feel the need to get over here. You know, some prime real estate. Spent 4 tokens or whatever on this American football field in Chernobyl. The Chernobyl Chirpers with the best view in football. That is so grim, and also very grim that there's not like big sports stadiums right now that I can get, unless I haven't unlocked them yet. Maybe they're unique buildings or tourist attractions, but like this is as big as it gets, and I'm like, what the hell? This is a high school stadium. Like, who cares? And I'm also realizing I have a huge deficit with grain, so ta-da, we're going to go ahead and make grain. There's no pollution that causes or that comes from this, so you kind of don't really need to care where you put it. And look at what I'm doing. I'm trying a different method. Instead of just encompassing everything with a circle, I'm just trying to make it fit like on a farm road. And honestly, it's a little weird, and I think I regret it. Holy San Francisco. Dude, sometimes you don't realize how like high up things are until you look at them. But look at this awful place. Look at this. There are 19 gas stations. There's no reason to do any of this. It's frustrating that they have such few diverse things that you could actually use in this game. And you can see over here in the college, I have high density residential here popping up for the first time next to 16 gas stations. It looks really sick, guys. Thanks. And it's just got me thinking, like, the plot sizes are huge. You know, like, why can't I fit 3 small 2x2 houses in here instead of like, why are they like, no, dude, a 1x6, a 2x6? Like, what? It looks weird to me, and it makes for these awkward spacings on homes. My big office building, by the way, check these things out. These look sick. I'm actually really proud of these. I love the way they look in cities too, and I can't wait to make cooler office districts. But that's where this old industrial spot is, and you can see that I'm thinking, how do I get people here without traffic? Because these roads suck. Well, look at my city. It looks like San Francisco. Everybody's complaining about rent prices. I don't care. Fun fact, as I start to develop my subway system, I have found out that not only do you need to manually connect your cargo trains everywhere, but you need to connect them manually to the outside. Just connecting your train to the outside doesn't do it. You need to go in and set up a train line for your cargo train to access it. It's a little stupid, I understand, but like I had nothing running cargo-wise for like 2 months until somebody told me that. This area might be my least favorite area now. I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm not sure how I'm gonna make it look good. In my head, I'm like, okay, we need people to have like a path out of the college that's not the only way in. I've already done this with Chernobyl. So I'm like, do a pedestrian area. That seems great. Like maybe I guess I can see what I'm thinking here. I ultimately changed this entirely, but you just don't want this. You don't want to have one way in and one way out, and this highway can be moved. I'm just, for whatever reason, in my head, I don't want to change it because they wouldn't do that in real life. They wouldn't dig up an entire highway and move it for a college, would they? I'm having trouble figuring out why I've put roundabouts at the end of every single highway exit, because maybe I've been drilled into thinking that roundabouts are actually better than stoplights, but sometimes they dead ass aren't, especially with high volumes of traffic coming from one way. And I need additional entrances. Like you can't just have one way in. And if I'm going to set things up where I have these like spindles where you have one residential arm vertical and then people going east-west, I need to have another way in. So I put a little one way up by this train station, and then I get sidetracked because I'm like, wait a minute, I could tear down an industrial block because I'm pissed off at the industrial area, and then I can convert this to a nice residential only street, and then I can make a pedestrian only, reducing the amount of traffic here, and it's gonna be brilliant. It's time to focus on moving people outside of cars. That's right, you can place things down and build around them. So I put the subway station down first, and I decide to kind of tuck it in between two accessible areas. I don't know if this is a good idea, but I'm going to make this spot the new north side, like, office and live work area. It should still be able to be easily accessible by the university, by the middle of the city, but it should be another population dense area because it's proximity to both the highway and this giant 1 kilometer bridge, baby. We're back. It's so cold and you're walking your ass across that windy bridge. No way, dude. I mean, I think it's really funny because they will do that, and it is kind of cool to see a bridge that long, but it's not even covered. I would never do that in the winter. But they will, and that's what matters. And they can use this bridge if they want a shorter walk. It's also not covered, but there is a pedestrian area. I think that I've now found the enjoyment in doing these nice little like promenades. So this curvy road, again, pedestrian only road, and everything else will kind of be built to support this. I need some park areas. What am I doing dezoning this? Oh, that's right. The coastline is for the people. This is a theme that I'm trying to stick to, where instead of overdeveloping the coastline, I'm going to just let it chill. Let it look like nature intended, okay? And also put a little park over here by the highway, a little camping area for the kids, and zone, you know, high density residential next to the subway station so that maybe they don't want to get cars ever. You know, it's just all thought on how do I make people stop driving, because I'm getting so mad at micromanaging traffic that I'm about to delete roads. Just keeping the idea of this nature area, I'm going to put a botanical garden down directly across from the pedestrian bridge. Big idea, bad idea? I don't know, but we're doing it anyways. To upgrade my University Boulevard to a boulevard because, well, there's too much traffic, which means I had to delete all of the giant shops here and then rezone it, which gives me an opportunity to really look at my mistakes and realize I'm not changing a damn thing, but I really should. I put this interchange down. It was a medium traffic flow interchange with the intent to have it work. And all it has shown me is that literally 100% of the people traveling on this highway are trying to get in and out of my city. Like, I have never, like, I mean, it's awful. Nobody is trying to go through those slip lanes at all. So I have to get rid of this and change it because it's just inefficient. I will say that I've found a good way to use these kind of awkward spaces in my industrial area, closer to roundabouts, whatever. I'm just putting down stone mills. Like, we need a bunch of stone for my industries, and I import quite a bit. Plus, they don't need specialized natural resources, so you can just plop them down and fill these awkward spots where maybe you don't have a good enough street infrastructure to support it, like the edge of the map. So that's what I've decided to do. Literally anywhere that's kind of awkward, put something that doesn't need a specialized industry there. It won't even generate, too much traffic, and it'll work out well.